As President Trump continues his search for a replacement for outgoing United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley, many experts are offering their opinions on who he should choose. According to author and publisher Conrad Black, the top choice is sitting here with me now. In a recent article Black wrote, "I suggest that the next US ambassador should be Ann Coulter. Her political views, unlike Ambassador Haley's, have long been supportive of President Trump. The United Nations is largely a debating chamber, and this is a field where Ms. Coulter has been very accomplished for many years. She is accustomed to being vastly outnumbered by mocking opponents of her unapologetic conservative views and would not be fazed in the slightest by the opposition of most of the 193 other countries in the United Nations. Ann Coulter, if nominated, would you serve?"
Well, of course, Conrad Black is a very serious intellectual, and we should take any suggestion he makes seriously, as of course I would. But I would have to step aside from my choice, which is the president's daughter, Ivanka. For one thing, it gets his relatives out of the White House. For another thing, I think it's kind of insulting to the UN. I'm just sending my daughter. And for a third thing, what Jared and Ivanka actually do well, which isn't politics, is real estate, and I've always wanted the UN to go condo.
That's a great use for it.
Win-win-win.
Tammy, what's your take?
Well, I got two words, really. Rick Grinnell. And I think what's important here is that not only is Rick showing us what an ambassador can do, right? We haven't known really what ambassadors are capable of. His work in Germany has been extraordinary. He's been a supporter of the president from the beginning. He, of course, has extensive experience at the UN with multiple U.S. ambassadors to the UN. And I think that ultimately, when it comes down to it, this is a guy that Americans already like. We know that he understands the president's agenda and is able to move it forward. And I believe he's under some serious consideration. One of the arguments is that it has to be a woman. And look, you know, I want women to do well, obviously, as well. I spent most of my adult life working for that. But the president has so many talented women that we can really, I think, get rid of the quota notion. And naturally, women are already in good positions, will be in more good positions. And it means that, of course, the best person for the job should get it. Okay. And in this case, it's Rick Grinnell, I think.
Jason.
I like the idea, man. I just want to see the confirmation hearing. I want to see you sitting there at the desk, and then you see, like, Cory Booker and Kamala Harris asking you questions. And just waiting for the answer
relations?
and response.
We have Menendez if he's
really
yes.
begging to have Kavanaugh.
Oh yes, that would light it up.
I think that's exactly right.
I think it'd be.
No,
great.
it would be so fun to see their heads explode. It really would, because couldn't you see Cory Booker reading passages from one of your books? How would that make you feel?
Actually, Chuck Schumer already has in rejecting a Hispanic nominee, the great Miguel Estrada. Just to remind people of this, the Democrats rejected an Hispanic nominee to the D.C. Circuit because he was thanked in one of my books.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
And from reading the acknowledgments, it was quite brave of Miguel Estrada.
You could take on Spartacus, couldn't you?
I want him to start reading from Clueless. They have a reference to Spartacus that I think is very relevant.
I just think it's a brilliant... I just think that the UN is a total joke. When I was working in government, we tried everything we could to try and get them to reform the way they approach things, especially like we were talking about earlier, failed states and using the Millennium Development Goals to try and build those institutions of, you know, success, the market economy, free society. They're not interested. It's totally political.
It's a joke. It should go condo.